been pretty tough for Trump supporters on social media lately, getting shadow banned, having our content buried under pages of irrelevant search results, and some cool people getting completely banned from Facebook and Twitter. But one social network has taken things a few steps further, and they've announced that if anybody posts anything favorable about President Trump, that they're going to get their account completely banned. Ravelry, which is a social network similar to Pinterest, except it's geared specifically for people who knit, where they post pictures of the projects that they're working on and they exchange tips about knitting. Now they have announced their new policy. This is a pretty popular site, I guess, for the knitting community. I think it's the most popular one. Do not post in support of Trump or his administration. We are banning support of Donald Trump and his administration on Ravelry. This includes support in the form of forum posts, projects, patterns, profiles, and other content. I would have assumed that the knitting community is probably one of the least political places on the entire planet, but apparently I'm wrong. I'd be willing to bet that one person posted a picture of a Trump hat that they knitted, and it completely triggered some of the other members, and so they reported them for speech. I think it's safe to say that this is probably the only hand-knitted pro-Trump hat on the entire planet. But there are apparently plenty of people on Ravelry who are knitting other kinds of hats with a slightly different message.
Our new this morning, Alpine woman using her knitting skills to help women who want to send a message to President-elect Donald Trump. Her name is Yolaine Stout. She's participating in the nationwide effort that's asking women to knit a simple pink cat hat to wear in solidarity during Saturday's National Women's Marches all over the country. Those marches are in protest of the president-elect and happen the day after the inauguration.
So the Trump hat upset the other women who are knitting hats, and all hell broke loose, and so Ravelry has banned them. While the correct thing to do would be to laugh at these lunatics, a senior writer at Gizmodo, a pretty popular tech website, is applauding the gesture and saying that this move makes all of the other social media sites seem like cowards for not banning support for President Trump. Apparently, this is not the first controversy to rock the knitting community. At the beginning of this year, a popular knitting blogger posted how excited she was to have been invited to a trip to India, where she could get some authentic Indian yarn. She said that it felt like being given a ticket on a trip to Mars. Here's a member of the knitting community explaining what happened.
She compared it to taking a trip to Mars. I think that her intent was in a literary analogy to say, you know, it felt as if someone were saying, they might as well have said, why don't you take a trip to Mars? Because it felt that intimidating to her. But that was interpreted to be offensive, as in saying, why are you comparing a trip to India to a trip to Mars? Are you comparing the people that live in India to as if like aliens, like literal aliens that live on Mars?
And leave it to Vox, the home of Carlos Maza, to cover this controversy as if this was a real problem. The knitting community is reckoning with racism. As someone who is mixed-raced Indian, to me, her post, meaning the woman who was excited to go to India, though seemingly well-meaning, was like bingo for every conversation a white person has ever had with me about their, quote, fascination with my dad's home country. It was just so colorful and complex and inspiring. It's not that they were wrong, per se, just that the tone felt though India only existed to be all those things for them. This writer's upset because white people think that India's a cool place and they want to go there. She then posted an apology on her blog saying that, quote, I have hurt, angered, and disappointed a lot of people this week with my insensitive post about my upcoming trip to India and my handling of the response. The correct response to dealing with lunatics online is to either ignore them or to laugh at them. You never apologize to them when you didn't do anything wrong. Of course, there's going to be a lot more purges of Trump supporters from social media in the coming months, but unfortunately, they're not going to be as funny as getting kicked off of a knitting site. Sure, we could hope that Congress will someday repeal their Section 230 immunity protections from the Communication Decency Act, but it's quite a long shot. As Andrew Breitbart famously said, politics is downstream from culture, so it's up to us to change the culture and push back and shame these social media companies for their ridiculous discrimination and their absurd double standards. They have to be exposed for the Orwellian scum that they are, and if we lose this fight against online censorship by the social media giants, we will lose this country. Subscribe to my channel for new here, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing as long as I can. And if you guys enjoy watching my videos, click some of the links in the description below to sponsor the channel, or head on over to my online store at markdice.com and get one of my awesome shirts, like the Abraham Lincoln Trump shirt, the JFK Trump shirt, or any of my presidential collection. All available in t-shirts, long sleeves, and hoodies, and a whole bunch of different colors as well.